Hey, oh my God, I've been wanting to do this for so long. First and foremost, introductions. My name is Moon. I'm an artist. I'm studied in a variety of topics, inclusive of religion, spirituality, making music, design, photography, artistic ambivalence. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but we're gonna go with that for now. Feel free to correct me in this, but it is fine. So I want to stand up as a black man and to have a conversation with the world because the world is in an interesting place right now. We're being riddled with so much information on a day-to-day basis, from stuff about what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman, what it is to be alive, freedoms, stuff about spirituality, and the various nuance about religion and all this different stuff. I don't also just want to talk about that. I also want to talk about the things of the world. Um, that is inclusive of celebrity news, stuff about the government, stuff about policies, politicians, um, mental health, just a myriad of topics and just stuff, whatever that pops up in my mind. I feel like I have done enough soul searching and have a grounded presence to be able to give information out. I've watched a various copious amounts of YouTube, and I've really gotten to see the perspectives of both left and right and middle people. And I would like to consider myself like in the middle for certain topics, just because I feel like there is so much nuance that nothing is like really left or right. There's a lot of black and white, a lot of like gray area for things. And especially when it comes to the whole masculine and feminine talk, I really feel like we've been given people who don't know what they're talking about. And as as for me, my pronouns look, I'm a man, and I know that I have a feminine inside of me, and there's a balance that must happen in order for us to exist. And I know that it is the opposite for women. They have an internal masculine energy. You don't have to call it that because I know that we live in the age where people are choosing pronouns and everything. There is just a proton, a neutron, and an electron. Okay, and you can call it the Holy Trinity if you want to. But simply said, I'm here to be a presence for young men, young women, and just people in general. Someone that really gets the topics of being human within this. Because I feel like we get hit up with all these different things of like, a woman should be like this, a man should be like this, a blah, 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 blah. And religion told me that I should do this, and religion told me I should do that. And it's like, after studying so many different forms of life, I'm really starting to understand that a lot of it is just what we created life to be. And so, if that is the case, that means that we can create life to be something entirely different. That being said, I'm gonna give a little premise on where I stand with the whole masculine and feminine thing. I feel like the degree of conversation is that we are fighting each other when really we should be making a conversation on how to unite with each other so that we can create something different. Because right now it's just like, from the women's perspective, I see women degrading men and saying men do this and men do that. And as a man, I understand. And I'm with y'all on the perspective and understanding that is the case because men can be freaking ridiculous sometimes and scary. And the stuff that gets said to women as someone who's married, I just be baffled. Like, I wish I was there. I wish you would have tried to say that to my woman while I was there. And I hate that it has to be like that. I wish that there was a level of respect that we gave women. Not to say that I don't. I just include we because I am a man. Um, that just off rip, it's just like, I respect you, so I wouldn't say this. I respect you, so I wouldn't treat you like this. That's just it. That's just it. And that's where I stand. And you can only imagine what the topics are going to be like, given that's my stance on things. Now, from a masculine perspective, a lot of the stuff that men say about women and that men say that women should do, I just believe that it's totally ludicrous, and that there's a certain attitude of like feminism. I understand feminism. Feminism at its core is just women wanting to have the freedom to just be human and alive, just like we have had for a very long period of time. And a great example I like to give for this is just that if you are black, you understand what it is like for racism to exist. And that when you see a white person, it doesn't matter what their ideology is and their perspective is, because you are going to view them in the same context of, you are a white person. And I say white because I just to go over all the terms of people, because I understand that white and black is not really a thing. It's just a construct that we gave to say that someone is alive or dead within the government. And I'm not going to get into all that right now. That would be a different topic of discussion. But just basically saying that, like, if you understand that, you understand why women look at men as a whole. And it's like, we can't expect them to just always understand who we are and who we are going to choose to be at a present moment. All they get is what they've seen men to be. And I feel like, in order for us to really change that narrative, we're gonna have to change what the fuck is going on with the majority of us. We got to understand how the system has affected men and changed our thoughts and patterns and all this different stuff that we've been a part of, and create something different. That requires a self change, a perspective switch. That requires like some sort of understanding that, like, okay, while I may be a part of the system, doesn't mean that I have to be of the system. You know. So I want to stand up and I want to be a voice that I've wanted to be for such a long period of time, that sits here and says, we don't have to be perfect, but we do have to strive for something that is like unanimously understood as something that is right. Like, sure, morality, it doesn't really exist, but we can still sort of create some sense of morality, so that women aren't running in fear and men aren't doing crazy shit, and vice versa. Men aren't running in fear and women aren't doing crazy shit. Because let's be real, we both have something, a part to play in all of this. So that's one of my main discussions, given that I am a black man in this world. But I also want to speak on things like spirituality and Christianity, as I live in America, where Christianity has been the domineering religion, and it has really shaped our minds to create such a hardware in which we devalue ourselves and devalue the experiences of others, and devalue the experience of others who are participating in other religious things or spiritual things. For me, personally, I practice a little bit of everything, in a sense, where it's like, I understand what God is. And I say God is a they, because they are in all of this. God is an essence in which embodies everything that is around us: the trees, the air, the fire, the water, the cells, the parasites, the healthy organisms that enrich certain things to be you know and I choose the perspective of the middle ground, because I also understand that parasites can also be great for certain things. And so, with that being said, that same idea can be pushed on any topic. Sometimes a little war can set the tone for, like, it's like burning a forest. I don't condone war. Let me start with that first and foremost. I don't like what's going on, and I feel like there's so much better things to do. But sometimes I feel like a fight, a disagreement, doesn't have to be war, can lead to better things. But that's it. I'm running my time. I got like 20 seconds left. I want to keep this really short and sweet. This is the introduction to my new page. Welcome. And we're going to have a wonderful journey. I'm going to learn, and you're gonna learn. Let's get it.